Good evening, welcome and namaste. I'm Sadichha Shrestha and like every Tuesday, I'm already here in front of your TV sets at Himalaya Television on the sets of Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. And with me, I have someone who deals with time. As a guest hununcha, Mr. Ankur Jhunjhunwala, who is the Managing Director at Swiss Timepieces. Welcome to the show, Ankurji.
Thank you for having me here.
So, dealing with time, कतिजना perplexed भइराख्नु होला के हो यो भनेर, but you have Swiss International is a company that deals with watches, हैन त? So, and your company or your family भनौं न has been in this business for over 40 years now.
Yeah.
So, how was it growing up with watches everywhere?
Oh, it was amazing. I always saw watches around me, and it was just fabulous. You know, at that time we were mostly doing Omega, so I had an Omega Seamaster always with me, and that was the first watch that I bought.
Wow, you bought, not given to you?
No, I bought from my salary. I was working in India and I collected my salary and finally bought a...
But you bought it from your own family business?
I bought it in India.
So, over the years, हजुरले यो आफ्नो family को business हेर्नु भयो हैन, and now you're working as the managing director there. Did this happen because it was a choice or because it was not a choice at all and you had to do this?
No, I was actually exploring a lot of options, but somehow just watches clicked. You know, there's something about watches that just interests people. If you actually dive into the world of watches, there are so many things that you can learn and you can grow from. So it's just amazing to have, you know, doing business in watches.
In watches, all right. And so another thing that I really wanted to know was, as a child, you did see your father in this business, you know, selling watches, promoting them, and now you are yourself in this business. So what are the changes, some of the changes that you can visibly see then and now?
Technology, absolutely. So in overall watch industry itself, technology has played a very important role, mostly online. And here, when I do business, I think a large portion of my business is because of online sales, in Instagram, Facebook, or online selling through various portals here. So that has been a very important change. And we have a lot of customers we can directly connect with WhatsApp or Viber or WeChat.
Right.
You know, that allows us to have a very close relationship with the customer. So that has enabled us to probably perform better.
Definitely. I think technology has helped a lot of businesses, you know, be it small scale, medium or large scale industries. It has really been able to touch lives of many people as well. So in Nepal as well, you have an Instagram page, you know, Facebook page, and do a lot of orders come in through that as well?
We have few orders coming from that, but we have a lot of followers who see the watches and they come to the store and they want to see the watch, feel the watch physically, and then come to the store.
Has there been any instances where people, you know, just know the specific watch that they want to get, so they order just from Facebook or Instagram straight up?
Yes, we've had, and this is mostly because we have customers from outside Nepal.
Okay.
Yeah, so because they can't come to the store in Kathmandu, so they order via Instagram and we just ship it to them.
Okay, all right. So, you know, why do you think, what is the reason you would say that one should really invest in a good watch?
Watches mean a lot of things, you know. If you follow the recent news, there has been a particular watch that was once bought for $300, and can you guess how much was it sold for in an auction?
I'd say 3 million.
15 million.
Wow, really?
Yeah. That was a Rolex Daytona Paul Newman, the one that Paul Newman wore.
Okay.
So basically, a lot of times watches can be an investment.
I know.
And there are certain watches, there are certain brands where the wait time is 6 to 7 years. So basically, if, for example, if I have that watch and if I were to sell it to someone who's willing to wait for 7 to 8 years, he would just give me a premium.
I know, that is
so
true.
So watches can be an investment.
Okay. So we will continue our lovely conversation here with Ankurji. Don't go anywhere. Do not switch the channel. We'll be right back after this break.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Mankolo, Coke Sangha. In association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that short commercial break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6 with me, Sadichha, and my guest for today, Ankurji. So, Ankurji, break agadi hamle kura गरिहाल्यौं तपाईले भन्नुभयो that, you know, a watch that was maybe bought for $300 now sold for $15 million. You know? So that's a huge amount of money that somebody's making out of a watch. Right?
Absolutely.
And अहिले हजुरको त्यो brand को perspective हरु पनि change हुँदैछ. Like people who watches भन्ने बित्तिकै people think about Rolex and Omega and all these big brands, but I think smaller brands are also really taking up, shaking up the market and really taking up a lot of market share as well when it comes to watches.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that shift or that change?
There are actually a lot of niche players in the market as well. And they make very crazy watches, very innovative watches. And the best part is they have limited resources, limited manpower, limited capital, but still they make a lot of crazy watches.
True.
Which actually challenge big brands. But again, these are in limited quantities, very expensive. So these are collector's items.
Right.
But at the same time, because of Instagram and because of Facebook, there are a lot of online brands that do well.
True.
And they have actually taken a part of the share. And in the current scenario, Apple Watch is a big challenger in the Swiss or mechanical watch industry.
I was about to ask you the same thing. मान्छेले यसो सोच्दाखेरि घडी किन लाउने त भन्दाखेरि टाइमको लागि भन्ने is the basic thing. But I think with watch it also comes a status भन्ने कुरा पनि आउँछ, style, a style statement, whatever you may call it. A watch is just actually more than something that just will tell you time. But there are other technological advancements, like you just mentioned, an Apple Watch or maybe a Fitbit that also does so many other things than just telling you the time. So when these competitors come into the market, what do you think should be the strategy of brands to cater to more and more public?
So these watches are focusing on people who focus on utility.
Yes.
So that's why they need heartbeat, they need step counters. But at the same time, there are certain people who just wear watches to appreciate the marvel and mechanical marvel the watches are. So for example, the watch that I'm wearing is made up of carbon. The body is made up of carbon, and it is a limited edition to 777.
It has to be, of course, if you're wearing it.
Of course. So it's limited to 777 pieces, right? So that is why it's unique in the world. For example, Apple Watch probably produces 1 million watches a year. That's not unique.
Right.
But this would be a unique watch.
Okay.
So that is why, and a lot of times people, for example, I can just recognize, I think I can recognize what watch a person is wearing. Right. So I think that status symbol is always there.
Always there. That's true. So if you would suggest for a new person who wants to make an investment in watch, let's say, not for any other reason, but they have saved up some money and they want to invest in a good watch, what would be your suggestions for them? What are the things, some of the things that they should really look for in a brand?
So first, in case of Nepal market, you have to make sure that the watch is original.
Authentic.
We have a lot of people selling the fake watches that I sell.
All right.
The watches that I sell, they sell fake pieces.
And all the watches that you bring in, the brands that you bring in, are exclusive only for your company,
only we sell in Nepal, and we are listed in the websites as well, company websites. So first, exactly, the company website, you have to make sure that you're listed.
Authentic.
And it has normally good watches have 2 years international warranty. So anywhere in the world you can claim the warranty.
Okay.
So this is something that you got to focus on. The most important is the money.
Right.
So
how much are you willing to spend?
Exactly. So again, for example, we just got a brand that is in the range of 30,000 rupees and above, and it is a Swiss watch.
Okay.
So for example, basically if you are into watches, there are a lot of brand options that are now available which have different price range, and that can be a good investment. Right, so these, I think, few things are, and plus there are so many online forums, there are so many channels that talk about watches, so you can always get a review of a certain brand that you're looking for.
True, okay. So I think those were some very helpful tips. You should make sure that they're authentic.
Yes.
You should make sure that the warranty is there to a general of, on an average, 2 years international warranty. You should also make sure that you get a good review first. You read the reviews online as well. I think if you know somebody or a friend or a family who has an interest in watches, I think they can really be a good source, of information and knowledge.
Exactly.
Right?
And there are a lot of people in Nepal who have good collection of watches.
Watches?
Yeah, international level collection of watches.
Really?
So, you can always reach out to them.
Okay. So, with that helpful tip, I think we'll take another break, but don't go anywhere. Be right back. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6, only on Himalaya Television.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Man kholo, Coke Sanga. In association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that short commercial break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. म हुँ सदिक्षा श्रेष्ठ. तपाईहरु भर्खरै अफिसबाट घर पुग्नु भएको छ भने तपाईहरुलाई वेलकम गर्न चाहन्छु म यो कार्यक्रममा, यो शोमा र मेरो गेस्ट आज हुनुहुन्छ अंकुर झुनझुनवाला, who is the managing director at Swiss Timepieces. So Ankur ji, we're talking about watches आज हैन. अनि Swiss Timepieces in particularly चाहिँ कुन brand को watches हरु offer गर्नुहुन्छ?
We have actually a lot of mixed brands and they cater to different price ranges.
Okay.
So we don't want customers to walk out empty-handed. So we have Titoni, which is a Swiss brand. It is a family-owned company, and it is very popular in the China, Hong Kong, these sort of markets.
All right.
Then we have the Seven Friday, which is very young, funky, a very young brand, but it's a sort of a lifestyle brand. And people who start wearing Seven Friday prefer wearing Seven Fridays. Then we have Frederic Constant, and Frederic Constant is a Swiss brand, and they aim at making luxury watches at very affordable prices. It's very popular in the Europe market. And then we have Maserati, the official watches for the cars. And then we just got Balmain. These are official watches of the Balmain brand. And this
the
is
fashion brand, right?
And these are Swiss made. Again, this is part of Swatch Group, so they use good technology, good machines in the watches. And we have the
one that I'm wearing.
Lanier. And this is a very good fashionable brand. It has Swarovski crystals on them. They are made in France. So entire spectrum of watches.
When I visited your showroom also, even though it was a small space, but you had a beautiful display of all the watches. And like you just mentioned, I think the that, you know, if you just look around, you'll see what kind of watch really is calling out your name. You know, for some people it really be leather straps, nothing too fancy, very simple design. For some it has a lot of bling. You know, for some it has to be super casual, should not even look like a watch. You know, people have different preferences. But something interesting that I wanted to discuss with you is how the involvement of fashion brands into this particular business has attracted maybe more and more people and has actually, you know, extended the customer base. For example, someone who wouldn't really want to wear a watch is not the type to wear a watch. If, for example, Maserati takes out their collection of watches, suddenly, you know, really wants to get that watch, right? So has there ever been instances where customers come in specifically because they like that particular brand or fashion brand or the car brand and then come to get the watches?
Yes. For example, just as you mentioned, Maserati helps a lot. You know, the brand Maserati has a lot of value. So a lot of customers, we had one particular customer who bought Maserati because of the emblem. And that was very visible, and his name kind of resembled the emblem. With the M. So that is why it makes a lot of difference. And nowadays, watches are not just something to tell time. It complements what you're wearing.
Definitely.
So we have people wearing dress watches, people wearing fashion watches and party watches. So, you know, based on that, they nowadays buy watches.
Definitely. I think a watch also, as if it goes along with your outfit, it'll really add a lot of substance and style into the whole outfit and, you know, the whole occasion as well. You know, and talking about occasions, a watch, I think, is something that is I think number 3 in the gift giving list, right? Like as a Christmas पनि हो, तपाईहरु सबैजना Christmas celebrate गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ भने तपाईले पनि कसैलाई के गिफ्ट दिने भनेर सोच्नु भयो भने I think watch चाहिँ धेरै जनाको लिस्टमा आउनु पनि हुन्छ, especially during birthdays and anniversaries, couples wearing the same watches and यस्तो पनि आजकल एकदम धेरै popular भइराखेको छ. So to somebody who wants to give a watch as a gift to someone else, what would you suggest? How do they select the right watch for that somebody special?
So again, people have different preferences. So I think if you're planning to give a gift, you should take on a neutral approach. And if you're giving a gift to somebody from another country, then you have to make sure that the warranty is available internationally. And the box packing and, you know, the kind of looks the watch have makes a lot of difference. But again, if I were to give a gift to somebody, I think I would take a very simple watch which is timeless and can be worn with a lot of outfits.
So धेरै confusion नहुने गरिकन. If you, I think when it comes to gift giving, especially if it's a watch, if you really doubt it, then you should not get it, right? Because then if you are doubting whether the person is going to wear it, whether the person is going to like it, then they most probably, I think, will not, you know, like it. So and then would it also make a lot of difference if maybe जस्तो तपाईहरुकोमै पनि कोही कस्टमर आउनु भएर गिफ्ट पर्पसको लागि छ I'll take it but if in case exchange गर्नु पर्यो भने गर्दिनु हुन्छ भन्दा what would you guys really say?
So we do that. We give them a time period of 1 or 2 days, but a lot of times we've noticed they don't come. They like the watch, so they just keep it.
And then when fresh, let's say a new customer walks in with a bit of a confusion in their mind as to what exactly do they buy bhanera, how do you help them clear out the confusion?
Okay. So for me, because I am really interested in watches, there are a lot of things that you can talk about watches. So I make it an involving process. It was not like an impulse buying or you don't go and buy chips.
No. But you give them options and ask questions, right?
Yes. So we tell them this is the kind of machine, this is where it is made, this is the box, this is the offering that the watch has. So we make it more involving. So that is how we try and convert these new customers or the customers who go to other places.
And when I came into your showroom to do my research, let's say, regarding this interview, I saw a lot of customers who came in and had a whole list of watches that they wanted to see and buy, right? Like they were so sure. They downloaded the photos from the internet and they're asking you, do you have this? Can I have a look at all of this? So, when a customer comes in and they have a lot of option at times because Swiss Timepieces, for example, being a company that brings in or imports a lot of watches, one particular watch is a bit higher price compared to something else. Is the belama alkati tyo orko push garaun jasto huncha ki hunदैन, even though the customer is wanting to buy something else maybe?
Actually, we have an entire spectrum, so we don't prefer to push customers to buy a higher expensive watch. So we give them the options that is within, and this is kind of the first questions that we ask, what to men or women, leather or steel, or what's the price range. So we can show them accordingly. So, and again, the brands that we have are also positioned in that way, like different sort of price levels.
And then, before we take a break, one question that I wanted to ask was there are so many international watches को brand हैन, but Nepali brand चाहिँ त्यस्तो धेरै छैन अथवा छदै छैन भने पनि हुन्छ almost, right? So what do you think are the possibilities of Nepal maybe having or creating a world-class watch brand on its own?
There are actually, in terms of technicalities, the machine itself, it's very difficult to make. And very few companies in the world actually make the machines that go inside the watches. So that is a big challenge. But a lot of companies, I think, import. There are a few companies here that make Nepali watches. They import the machine and then do the casing. So in order to make it an international level, there's a lot of investment on marketing that is required. Because there are already big powerhouses like Rolex and Omega. They spend so much money on marketing.
True. With that lovely conversation, we're taking another short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching Himalaya Television. We are Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6, and I am Sadichha.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Man kholo, Coke Sanga. In association with Whisper.
Welcome back after that last commercial break. You're watching Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. म हुँ Sadichha Shrestha र तपाईहरुसँग आज मैले मेरो गेस्ट लिएर आएको छु Ankur ji. So Ankur ji, talking, we almost come towards the end of the show. नै 1 घण्टा हामी कुराकानी गर्यो watches हरुको बारेमा. But there, to all the people who are watching, who have an interest in watch, who like collecting or not expensive watches but general watches लगाउनुहुन्छ भने पनि, what are some of the tips that you would like to tell them on how to better take care of the watches that they have?
Alright, the first thing that you have to do is make sure you do servicing for the watch. Every 2 or 3 years you have to service the watch, because at the end these are mechanical parts. The levers can get worn, or anything can happen with the watch. So the first thing is you have to take care of it.
It's like how you service your cars, you have to service your watches as well.
Exactly. There are actually a lot of companies that offer additional warranty if you do servicing within a particular time period. So servicing is the most important. The second thing is there are a lot of ways that you can refresh your watch, in the sense that, for example, you can polish the belts again. If there are scratches, you can remove the scratch from the metal. So if you keep on doing that, then your watch
becomes look like brand new.
Exactly. And for example, in this watch you can change the straps. So after a few years you can just change the strap, get a new one, and
it look like completely new watch, right? Once the straps are changed.
Exactly. So these are some things that you can easily do. But the most important is you have to make sure that you service the watch. Otherwise, probably 10 years if you don't service the watch will just you have to throw it away. But if you service the watch, it can last for many, many years, even hundreds of years.
Okay.
There are watches which are more than 100 years old, which are in...
They're still functioning, they're
exactly.
still in good quality.
Yeah. We have actually watches in our store. My grandfather has a watch that was, I think, 50, 60 years old, but it's still working perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So servicing is very important. If you have invested in a good watch, make sure that you do service your watches on a timely basis. So ending the question on... ending our interview on a question where I would like to know, how do you see the future of Swiss timepieces? Are there any exciting brands that are coming exclusively to Nepal? What are your future plans? How do you see Swiss timepieces in the coming years?
We are trying to get a lot of limited edition watches.
Okay.
This is a big investment, because the prices of limited edition watches increases over the years.
Definitely.
We just got in Balmain watches, we just got it yesterday.
Okay.
Which is something new in Nepal.
Right.
And most importantly, because I really like watches, I like unique brands. I like something creative on the watches. So whenever we have customers, we try to educate them about small companies that are doing something very crazy in terms of watches. And we are already dealing with a few brands like Rebellion and Hot Lawns. So they have probably 10, 15 employees.
Okay.
But they make some watches which probably Rolex will never make. So
it'll be very funky and different and unique,
and complicated. So they have different complications, a complication that can counter-effect the effects of gravity.
Okay.
So those sort of watches that are made by these companies.
All right.
So we try to educate our customers on that. Maybe not just stick to one brand, but explore a lot of opportunities. It's just a whole world out there. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree, definitely. Thank you so much, Ankur, for being a part of this conversation here. And I thank you for actually educating our viewers also, a little more on the watches, how they can better take care of it. And thank you so much for sharing the journey of Swiss timepieces with us today.
Thank you for having me here.
So with this, we take your leave. Thank you so much for being a part of Coca-Cola, the evening show at 6. This is me, Sadichha, signing off and wishing everybody a Merry Christmas.